I can't believe August is halfway gone. It feels like every year I get caught off guard. January is slow, February feels like an eternity, and March is filled with the anticipation of flowers starting to color our world after the grayness of winter. Then spring arrives, and it's also somehow July, and I feel like I'm doing a crash landing into August. It's summer still, but also in the sewing, crafting, DIY world. It's also fall and Halloween and maybe a little bit of Christmas. And I'm doing everything I can to keep my head above my feet and enjoy what's left of summer before I dive headfirst into all the amazing things I want to experience this fall. And the thing is, I'm so excited to do all the fall things. I've already got the fabric for a quilt I want to make and a stack of fall recipes I can't wait to bake up. But I also don't want to spend the last days of summer being so excited for fall that I miss what it has to offer. And in this brutal heat wave, that means going to the farmer's market early to beat the heat, making cherry syrup for limeades instead of the fall coffee syrups on my list, reading one last book that screams summer before diving into something a little bit cozier. Maybe even making one last craft to celebrate the end of one season before saying hello to the next. Listen, summer is still happening. I can feel fall on the horizon too. And for this week, I'm choosing to live in the in-between while leaning into the last days of summer. So I just got my coffee and sourdough bagel that I got at the farmer's market yesterday, ready for me to eat this morning. And I thought, I've been really wanting to make a fall coffee syrup, like a maple cinnamon, brown sugar, vanilla, something that kind of has that cozy fall vibe. But there's gonna be so much time for that in September, October, November. And it's not going to be hot forever. Right now it's we're in major heat warnings, or we have been in major heat warnings for a couple of weeks. And so I've also been craving a cherry limeade. So I have frozen cherries and I have free will. So I'm going to make the cherry syrup this morning. So this afternoon, when the temperatures start to pop back up into the heat warnings, I can make a big ol' cold cherry limeade and enjoy that this afternoon. So if you've never made a simple syrup or anything like that for coffees or, lemonades, limeades, cake soaks, anything like that, to start, a simple syrup is typically a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. So I'm gonna do that. And then it's kind of hit or miss. There's probably a recipe that I can go find and get exact ratios, but it's not that serious. So I'm gonna do 2 cups of the frozen cherries that we got these at Costco. And then we're gonna just start cooking it down until it looks thick, blend it up, put it through a sieve, and then let it cool so I can use it this afternoon. Also, if it starts to look like it's not cherry enough for me, I'm gonna add cherries. So I'm gonna get those in the pot. I'm gonna get this started. Cherry syrup is done. It didn't take me very long. I just decided to blend it and not put it through a sieve. Any little bits that end up in my limeade will also end up with the bits of like lime from the limes that go in, so I'm not mad about it. If you want to know how long it takes, my coffee is still warm. This was not sitting on a warmer or anything. It was just sitting in my mom's Christmas cups. So that's how I'm kind of slowly starting my morning today. I was gonna sit down and read a book, but fortunately and unfortunately, I finished a book last night and it was really good. It was called The Reimagining of Thornwood House by J. Lee Johnson, I think. Highly recommend. It was like a mystery in a warm hug, found family. It was great. Highly recommend. But I was gonna read this morning, but I don't have another book chosen. Now I have a TBR list that's like a million miles long, but it's storming outside. Now it's probably like 80 degrees or hot. Yeah, it's hot outside, but stormy days have stormy, cozy vibes. So I think I'm gonna go to the library this afternoon when they open and kind of like narrow down my list and decide what I want to read next. I also have a quilting update, which is very exciting. I feel like I've made a lot of progress on the quilt and I want to show you where I am. It probably doesn't look like a lot, but for me, definitely feels like a lot. So I'm excited. I feel like I'm in a good flow with the quilting again, or just with like making things again. And I'm excited to share with you. I love the library. I was the kind of kid that would tear through books growing up. I'd ask to go to the library in place of recess. I was walking down the halls while reading. I was staying up way past my bedtime to finish books with a flashlight in my hand, and I could spend hours walking the shelves and reading the dust jackets to find my next read. Obviously, we don't have to step foot in a library to check out books anymore. My TBR and Storygraph is hundreds of books long, and it can tell me if I'm going to like a book based on everything else I've read. I love that. But I also still love going to the library and wandering the fiction section like I did when I was a kid. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Obviously, I found some pretty great choices on the shelves this week. These are just the fantasy picks that I picked off the shelves. My library also had some really great fall and Halloween options sitting around, but I'm not quite ready for those yet. So my two choices are Magic and Mischief at the Wayside Hotel and the Fireborn Glade. One of these is a warm hug of a book, and the other is a little more adventurous than I've been reading lately, and I'm really excited to dig into these. Good morning. It is Saturday morning, and on Saturday mornings, I typically, on an average Saturday, like to head to our local farmer's market. It's about 20 minutes away, but it's one of the best ones in the area. It's also raining. I don't know if the deck is wet. It's also raining, but our farmer's market is rain or shine. It starts at 8 a.m., which is in 20 minutes. And I've got an umbrella. I've got a reusable bag to carry what I'm getting in it. And it probably won't be super busy because it's raining and because I'm gonna get there right as they open. So let's go. Okay, so the farmer's market was much busier than I expected it to be, but I also got a lot more than I expected to get today because we're like in the high times of like farmer's markets like pulling stuff from the ground. They had garlic today, which I was really excited to see. So I got some garlic. Obviously lettuce is hard to come by right now. So the place I usually get the lettuce from did not have the lettuce that we like this week. And my dad's one request was that he wanted lettuce. So I found some lettuce. It's the kind we like. I got 2 bags, one for me, one for him, or all for him. I don't really care. But the baker that I usually stop and get a little treat from, they're like a French bakery kind of thing. They bake with French techniques, which is awesome. But I always get a chocolate croissant from them when I come here as a little treat. And they weren't here, and so I looked up on their Instagram if they posted like why they weren't here, but they're just on vacation before their kids go back to school, so no big deal. But I didn't get my little treat this morning, so I think on my way home I'm gonna stop at the little local donut place and I'm gonna grab a donut so that I can have my coffee and a donut when I get home, and I will show you my haul when I get there. And this is probably the best farmer's market I've been to all year. They start in April and run through the end of October here. And for the first like few months, like it's not high produce season yet. So the people who do like hydroponic growing, like the lettuces and stuff, they almost always have lettuce. They didn't have the one we liked today because of the cyclospora outbreak. So everybody's buying lettuce at the farmer's market. But this was probably one of the better like summer hauls. So I know people are gonna like start like really jumping into like fall and fall recipes, and it's August and we're still like in the high times of like some of the greatest summer produce. So like let's sit in summer for a second, but let me show you what I got. We got 2 bags of lettuce. This is the kind that my dad likes and the kind that I like. So I got 2 bags of that. I got some green onions. I got a tomato and a little bit. And I got a bag full of cherry tomatoes. This particular vendor, I've been getting tomatoes that taste like candy almost. So I'm excited for those. It's also melon season. So they had cantaloupes that smell incredible. So I got one of those. The garlic dealers were there today. So I got 6 heads of chestnut red gourmet garlic. And it says it's good for baking and roasting, so I thought I could roast some and put it in some sourdough. And then last but certainly not least, onions are in. So I got onions from 2 separate farmers. They were each like quart-sized containers, and they were each like $3 a piece. They were super cheap because onions are cheap generally. So these are like a small size, which is great. And then I got a full quart of like candy sized ones, is what they call them, which some of them are like really small and some of them are a little bit bigger, like shallot size. But I was thinking that I could cut these up in half and like roast them in a oven braise of some kind because they were cute and I thought they would be tasty that way. But there are so many of them. There's one rolling around in this bag. So all in all, I did pretty good this week. There were definitely some things that I wasn't expecting to get this week. I haven't been in probably like a month now. I've been going, in the early season, we were going like every weekend, but then I was out of town, and then the amount of produce we had in the house was like, I didn't need produce, so I just like wasn't going. And since I got a sourdough starter, I haven't needed bread from the bread people that I like. And so this is the first time I've been back in a while, and like, dang, I did pretty good. So I probably need to do some prep on this. I just need to get it washed, put it in the fridge, cut up the melon, that sort of thing. But I think before I do all that, I'm gonna make myself a little coffee, and I'm gonna eat my donut, and I'm gonna read a book because it's like 68 degrees outside and it's so nice. I regretted not taking a jacket with me to the farmer's market, so I am gonna do that and putz around for the rest of the day. So yeah, summer's not over yet. Summer is still fully here as far as produce goes. I think it's about time for a quilting update. So I'm still working on the Harkin quilt, and it's going to be twin size in this green, navy, white color scheme situation. And if you are a quilter, you know that quilting is a lot of like the same thing, repetitive over and over again. If you're not a quilter, now you know. So, for example, I've been sewing and pressing like a million of these and a million of these. So I have a bunch of those that I need to press. But I had decided to sew one of the final blocks all the way through. Look how cute this is. So I went ahead and sewed one complete one because there were a couple of directions in the pattern that I was like a little bit confused by. So I wanted to make sure that I like had a grasp and had an example so that when I inevitably had questions again, because I'm not working on this all at one time, I had a reference point. So the final quilt will be like, I think it's like 20 of these or something like that. So it's like 4 by 5, I think, of these. I'm really excited to get it done. So we're just kind of in the process of getting things made in the order that they're supposed to be made in. So that is where I'm at with the Harkin quilt right now. I'm making good progress, not as fast as I want, but like it's also like the end of summer, and I know once it cools off this winter, I'm gonna want to do a lot more sewing and knitting and like not leaving the house. I'm hoping in the next update I've got some more of the big blocks together because I'm excited. August is almost over, and I would love to be able to start the fall version of this in September, but we'll see. The second iteration will obviously be much simpler because it'll be the second time I'm making it. Am I doing this right? Yes, okay. So you can just join me in ironing here for a little while. Take a little break, you know? I can't believe August is halfway gone. It feels like summer disappeared before I got to enjoy it. But when I look back over the last couple of months, I see a ton of farmers markets trips, sewing projects started, books read, and evenings spent in Forest Park. I experienced summer in all the ways that I love, and I'm excited to dive headfirst into all the fall things in a few weeks. I've certainly got plans and I'm excited to share with you. August is sort of that in-between month, isn't it? Half of us are firmly sitting in summer, and the other half are celebrating fall already. The weather says summer, but we're all ready for some of that fall coolness in the air. The anticipation of the seasons changing is something deeply human that I'll never get tired of. For now, I think I'm choosing to be both this year.
a little bit summer, a little bit fall, and just let August be August.